So, people, this is the first time I'm doing one of these YouTube video thingies in a while. And I was inspired by my sometimes good, but most of the times not that good, YouTube recommendation algorithm thing, whatever you call it. And I decided to make a video about all the cartoon DVD box sets that I have. It's not that much, and I don't know how long this video is going to be. But hopefully this is going to be enjoyed. So, first of all, we have this Woody Woodpecker and Friends Classic Cartoon Collection DVD. This has a collection of Woodpecker cartoons and some other ones that are garbage, basically. This came out in 2008, and Universal probably wouldn't have even released this if it wasn't Jerry Beck trying to get them to it, who is a famous animation historian, mostly associated by me with the Looney Tunes stuff. Anyways, before we actually review this, let's talk about the packaging. The packaging is pretty cool. Like, the first time you will have it, but then afterwards it's just super annoying to have to do this. It's not even secure inside the case, by the way, so it could just slip out, and then it's made of this material where it gets scuffed because you have to basically force it back in there because it doesn't even fit right. But I'm glad they did actually put effort into this packaging, because even though Universal probably had no intention of even releasing this, because that's why I told them so late to release it, they did actually put effort into the packaging, so that's pretty cool. There's an episode guide, there's special features and stuff, and there's a little thing about watching lights in the back. So they did at least put some effort into this, and plus there's a couple of cool little archival bonus features from the Woodpecker show and things. So yeah, but now to actually review the set, this includes the first 45, I'm pretty sure it's like 45 around that, Woodpecker shorts, and a bunch of other classic cartoons made by Walter Lantz, made by the same studio and team. And for the actual review of the cartoons, the Woodpecker cartoons at first are just kind of decent, but the good thing about this is that they're in order, so you can see it actually be better and become a little bit weaker by the end. But Disc 2 is the most consistent in terms of Woodpecker, and that has the best of the bonus cartoons, which are mostly awful. Disc 3 has some good Woodpeckers. Towards the end they get a little weaker, but the bonus cartoons on Disc 3 are actually decent. Disc 1 has, I think, the weakest selection of Woodpeckers, and maybe Disc 3 has the weakest. It certainly has the weakest bonus cartoons, which are interesting for like one watch, but it's not like I'm gonna watch any of these ever again. But anyways, the review of the actual set. The menus have a Woodpecker's laugh going on over and over. So you know how annoying and horrifying that is. But the main reason why this probably isn't gonna be actually 5 stars to me, if I was like particularly picky, is that it's incredibly obvious that Universal didn't put that much effort into remastering these. Well, the black and white Oswald cartoons, those look pretty good, because they probably actually have to make them presentable. But these Woodpecker ones and the other ones, they're probably old crappy versions made in like the 80s and 90s or something. And it's obvious that the cartoons aren't in the best shape to begin with. But also, since there's like 3 hours of content on the disc, plus the stuff, the content being duplicated for the cartoon selection, it's basically 6.5 hours if you count for the extras. So obviously everything, and a DVD can hold like dual layer DVD can hold like 4 hours. So obviously it's going to be so horribly compressed, along with the cartoons just not being good quality. Anyways, but I wasn't really expecting that much when I asked for this, but yeah, anyways, this set is good for me. Originally, I was just going to include ones that had larger than the regular DVD case style packaging, but I'm pretty sure that these also count as box sets because they have multiple discs inside one box, which is DVD case, so I guess. Anyways, Looney Tunes Golden Collection Volume 1 is pretty great, lots of good cartoons. Some of them are weaker than the others. I probably would have been more mad about that back in the day when this was the only DVD release and you had to wait a while, and the internet wasn't that good back then, so you don't know how to get the most recent announcements about the newest collections. So you don't really know what's going to be on there until you buy it. But anyways, this is a pretty cool collection. This inside artwork. Pretty cool disc artwork, lots of extras and stuff. So overall, this is pretty good. And then this, I decided to also include this in here, even though this is just the DVD version. But I decided to also include this in here. There's a couple other Looney Tunes stuff, even like the Superstars. But I didn't really want to talk about that. But I wanted to talk about this one. Even though I like this, because there's 3 hours of content on the DVDs. But that's basically 6 hours, as mentioned with the Woodpecker thing. So, and the cartoons obviously aren't going to be in HD anyways, because this is a DVD, but I don't know why they released it on DVD, because this is supposed to be like a Blu-ray exclusive thing, plus at least some double dipping. But overall this collection is good, even though it doesn't have any extras or anything. But and finally, for the classic stuff, is Tom and Jerry Spotlight Collection Volumes 1 to 3. This is basically just like a reprinting of the old Spotlight collections, which have not really that restored quality, but the extras are decent. This isn't the same discs, it's newly made Warner Archive discs, horribly stacked so they're out of order, and I don't feel like taking all of them out. But even though the quality isn't that great, there's still a very nostalgic collection. And also on Boomerang back in the 2010s, they used to always hear there's horrible quality versions, not the actual HD versions for some of them sometimes, which also goes for Looney Tunes, some of them sometimes. So I don't have that much of a problem with the quality being horrible because that's how I used to watch it. So it has the extra bonus nostalgia factor for me. And the good thing about this is that it has some of the extras from the previous release, not the audio commentaries for some reason, but it does have some of those featurettes. So overall, this is a pretty good set. It's basically worthless now because they made that Golden Anthology release like a year ago. Well, I don't know how long ago, some time ago. They made that complete anthology release. It doesn't have the featurettes from this, but it has some other extras and all the previous commentaries and stuff. Me, I'm perfectly fine with this. But I guess I would like to see Tom and Jerry evolve from like the 40s and 50s, so because that set's in order like the Woodpeckers are. Doing this one next because it's also older. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? The complete series. So Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Great classic show. DVD, pretty good. This also has the third season of the Scooby-Doo show, which is, I guess, marketed as Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Season 3 lost episodes, even though that's not true. I don't know like where they even came from, why they did that, but I guess they had to include them here for all the completionists and stuff. So one cool thing is that the back of the box is different and it shows you all the special features and stuff. So you actually have to keep the box notes on it. But yeah, the disc card is pretty cool. There's a complete series set. I think it also included season 3, where there's an exclusive bonus disc, and it was in a mystery machine, I think, or something. There's an episode guide. It doesn't give you a description of what villain is in each episode, so I guess you're just gonna have to like randomly guess. Also, the special features, instead of getting some kind of in-depth behind the scenes like with the Flintstones, you just get some little crappy little things that just aren't bonus features at all. On the very last disc, you get the Hanna-Barbera focused featurette, which isn't about Scooby-Doo specifically, it's more Hanna-Barbera focused, like generally, but it's the best feature on here, but the rest of the stuff is just not that good. Anyway, speaking of the Flintstones, to have this ridiculous box set thing is the part of the Hanna-Barbera Diamond Collection. Every episode, 6 seasons, 20 discs, in 2 cases, which I think is how you should do a big box set like this, because as you're going to see later, they can just delve into whole packaging. Anyway, the Flintstones, great show. There's no extras because this is part of the Hanna-Barbera Diamond Collection, which is a series of DVD releases that they did, where they had no real menus, no real design or anything, and most of the times no extras. I think recently they started to include extras on the lower effort releases. But I didn't really care that much about the Flintstones to even care about the lack of extras, and I don't know if there's actually even good. But the show is good, and that's all that matters. Anyways, I like how they have actual unique designs for the cases and stuff. The cool thing is that they have an episode guide that tells you which episode's on this disc. And when you take the discs out, they have artwork under there, so they actually did put effort into this. I think that maybe it would prefer it if it was all the other previous discs with the extras, but it would have been too complicated probably. It would have led to worse packaging, because I'm pretty sure they did a Flintstones TV style set box or whatever for the complete series of all the discs, and that just looks like a complete mess to try to unpack every time I want to watch it. So here's the seasons 4 through 6 box, which has the last disc of season 3 in there, because the first case basically has the first 10 discs, but since it's basically all of season 3, I guess that's why they put that on there. And they just have actual artwork on them. There's only like one color on it, like Warner Bros. Started doing. But it's pretty cool that these actually have art on them, and it looks like they actually have. There's some kind of effort put into this. So here's another thingy. It's Teen Titans, the 2003 show, complete series, 7 discs, and all that. So, opinion on the show, it's good. The last season is not as good, and would have preferred they just ended at season 4, especially considering the horrible cliffhanger non-ending that I haven't even watched. But, yeah, Teen Titans Go is also cinematic. This one also has some unique, or on the back, it tells you about the specification stuff. And this isn't the original discs, by the way, that are originally released. This is some new discs from Warner Archive with barely any menus. The good thing is that there's a unique disc art. They do have an episode guide in the back, and they also have all the special features and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But what's not actually cool is that it's not separated by season, so the seasons bleed into each other, which isn't that bad. But then on the crappy menus, they have it separated into each season, so that's just stupid. They have it separate on each season, and it doesn't play in one long thing. You have to like go off of it and then go to the next season, which is super annoying, especially considering how on some discs there's just like 2 episodes from a season. They have to go to the next season. That is just the worst design ever made, actually. Also, the only special feature from the season 2 set, catching up with Teen Titans, is just a clip show from season 1. So I don't know why they even made that an extra anyway. But also, why would they even include it on here? That's just useless. I guess the super order completionists. By the way, the show was originally made in widescreen, but since it was in 2003, not everyone had widescreen TV, so it was made to be cropped in the 4:3 ratio on TVs back then. But this has the 4:3 versions for some reason, which is just ridiculous. Also, by the way, this doesn't have the movie, just in case you're wondering. They didn't even have it on a separate disc. Like, they could have had it, but they just decided not to. I was like a Teen Titans super fan, and I haven't seen the movie in years. I don't know if it's actually good, but I guess if someone was theoretically a Teen Titans super fan, then this would probably piss them off more than it does me. But it's still just stupid. Like, why not include the movie? Incredibly clever segue into the next thing. So here it is, Edna, the complete series. Not complete, no specials, no movie. Like, what is this? This is just false marketing. Anyways, the show is mostly great. Season 1 is just good, and Season 5 is kind of good sometimes. But this set, well, first of all, the front case just looks like they got it off iTunes. The back case looks decent. All the screenshots from the same episode, so they didn't put that much effort into this, obviously. But, yeah, the good thing about this is that they repackaged the old Season 1 and 2 disc with all the original extras and stuff. They have an episode guide that looks like it was made in like 2 minutes with a stock font. But it's still good. That's on here. The case came broken, so thanks, Walmart. But anyways, each of the discs has its own character on it, and that's pretty cool, and it says the season. So I guess they put some effort into this, but not that much, because they were missing episodes. Speaking of the episodes, some of the episodes are out of order for no reason. The last 2 episodes, Season 3, and the first 2 Season 4 episodes, I switched around in some orders. I personally prefer it being switched around in those orders because the double length, if it smells like an Ed, which is overhated by the way, works better as season premiere. And Ed is Born, which is the top 10 episode, is a great season 3 finale. It doesn't really matter that much, doesn't hinder my experience of it. But Out with the Old and In with the Ed is the first episode of season 5. It's supposed to be because it has them going back to school. So I don't know what happened with this and why it's like that, but it's just ridiculous. And the only one of the specials included is the Edge comic, which is the Alien special. I think what happens is that the specials, the holiday specials in the movie, are included as part of a separate license or something, because that's how it is on streaming services. That might be why they're not included, but it's just ridiculous how they can't even put their own things on their own release. Also, episodes 9 and 14 are in a crappily stressed format for no reason. How does that even happen? And this is basically the only decent quality version of Season 6 episode you can find. So, that is just ridiculous. But, anyways, this set is decent. If the show wasn't 10 out of 10 like it is, then I'll be more pissed off. And the extras from the Season 1 and 2 set are actually good. But it's just an incredible decline between the first 2 seasons, clever menu design, and then you get that awful stock design for the later seasons. And I don't know why Cartoon Network waited until the 3rd anniversary to release this. And Foster's Home complete series was also released around this time. Then they've been extremely slowly releasing some of the other shows complete, like Regular Show and Dexter's Lab, which also is out of order episodes for no reason. in the Gumball side, which also has out of order episodes. The episode is slowed down, crowd presentation, but anyway, this set not really like the best way to preserve the show, but it's okay, I suppose. Now we have this thing, the original, not the original, the second version, because it came with Total Van at first. But this is the second release of 1987 complete series release. This is just all the volumes just put into one case. It's packaged so horrifically, but I guess this is the only way they could do it besides having the Total Van thing. There's a Paramount re-release. I don't know if that's like any different in terms of case space or whatever. I know it's the same awful packaging and the same awful discs. But yeah, anyways, here we go. So even though the packaging is just gross, they actually did put some effort into the discs, like having each season number on each disc and each turtle, a different style turtle art. Oh my god, Lou's Case is my favorite. For the actual set review, it's just the same volume DVDs, so the same out of order episodes. I never really cared that much about the episodes being out of order because there's no real, well, there's some continuity, but most of the time I just put these on randomly in the background, so I don't really pay that much attention. And most of the time I just put in like the first 3 seasons. The show overall is good, and they did put some effort into these older sets because they have some special features. Most of them are just very short interviews of people who worked on the show, like voice actors and storyboards and stuff. I really like the Ninja-tastic look back with classic voice actors, so that's a pretty cool special feature. But overall, the packaging is just horrific, but I guess if you want to watch the show like this, then you get this. I don't know if they still make this anymore because they made a new version of it, but if they do still sell it, then yeah. Also, I found this like $20, so yeah, I guess it's a good price. And this is the Angry Beavers complete series, released by Shout Factory because Nickelodeon was too cheap and lazy to even release it their own selves. So the Angry Beavers is a nostalgic show for me. I didn't remember like really anything about it before I started watching it like a year ago, I think. But all I remember is me watching it. Also the theme song, which is 10 out of 10. The artwork was kind of off-brand, like they traced already existing artwork. Also, they just have one tooth sticking out. It's not like divided right to make them 2. So I guess someone just wasn't paying attention and fucked up. But this is just all the previous 4 volumes, I guess. They have some pretty cool artwork on the back. But there's just all the previous releases that they did before, and obviously if you look at all the menus on the inside, the back, they didn't have that much artwork that much artwork of the Angry Beavers at their disposal, because I guess it was as popular as other shows to make all the stock up on. You can see that they didn't have that much to use. The show is great, probably like my top 10 or 20 favorite Nicktoons, or maybe 10 because I haven't like actually thought about them. But the show's great. The DVDs, obviously it's not going to be best presentation. There's no real extras or anything, which I'm not really disappointed about. But the DVDs overall are decent. They have decent menus, even though some of the episodes have awful visual quality, awful audio. But I guess this is the best that you could get. But Nickelodeon probably just didn't really care and just gave the files to them and just didn't really care about actual good presentation or anything. And finally, for this is another Nickelodeon Shout Factory release, Cat Dog. They put more effort into this because, for one thing, but this has a good background. There's obviously more artwork of Cat Dog to use at their disposal because they don't just use the same things over and over on the menus. So that makes them actually interesting. But the cool thing is that they actually have an episode guide on the back of these, and they have them in 2 separate cases because there's 12 discs. But the packaging is pretty cool. The cases are broken like a little bit, but anyway, the DVDs are basically the same decent quality as with the Angry Beavers, but these DVDs. By the way, I haven't ever watched the series all the way through. The last time I watched it was like a couple months ago when I watched season 1, and it was good. I might eventually get around to watching the rest of the DVDs in order sometime, but I'm glad they actually put effort into this, and even the Angry Beavers one had a little bit of effort into what they inside on the back. So I guess it really made it feel like a collector's edition, even though there's nothing really on this besides the episodes. Anyways, that's it. I don't know if I'm gonna ever make another one of these collection type video things, but that's it for this one.